Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a later in the day, not exactly prime time, but a later in the day edition of the Commissioner's Corner. It is I, James L. Seegers, coming to you in broad daylight in my dungeon of a basement here. We are making these podcasts a little bit later than normal because we have guests staying who sleep right behind me. I'm still not 100%, by the way, but I feel a million times better. Still got the phlegm. It sucks. Got a low-cut shirt. Whatever, man. What are you going to do? Anyway, guests sleep basically right here next to me. I'm not about to do these podcasts in the morning while they sleep. I have respect for people when they sleep. So, you're going to get the full intensity show today. Me, after being awake for a few hours, after a few coffees, after I, actually have, got the mojo going. So, normally I'm not whispering, trying to be quiet here, talking all reserved and shit. I don't know what's going on with this flashing behind me. Maybe there's aliens involved. Maybe not. Jesus himself is coming down from this side, it looks like. I don't know. But we're going to see what's going on. It's week 9. Jackson Public Schools. They always seem to call me at the worst damn time possible. But here we go. Week 8 is in the books. We have 3 weeks to go. Weeks 9, 10, 11. Math is obviously much more on point at this hour. We're going to go through a bunch of stuff. As quick as we can because we have time. Why am I so bullshitting after a minute 22? Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. So, we're going to start off what we've been starting off with about every week here now. We're going to go. That's right. It's W Watch, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to see if Tips and Tricks got a win. He's the only team who has not had a win yet. And Dominic Mulkey this week, we're going to scroll through and we're going to hit. I don't even have bottom 10 on here, but we're going to touch on it a little bit. Tips and Tricks 0-8. Losing again. 8-game losing streak. Obviously hasn't won all game. All week, rather. 458.57 points, which is not worse than the league, I promise you. Maybe it is. No, it's not, I don't think. Anyway, these are your bottom 10. 427.99. This is like more of a liquid brown color, too. I probably need to shave, but yeah, I look like an Amish woman. Anyway, these are your bottom 10. Not a lot. I'm not going to harp on these guys, although Ryan Frazier, Matt Farmer, and Tom Farmer, you're better than this. Going through here, the Dublin Drunks out of the bottom 10. That's good. Hoodrich Honky, haven't seen his name in a minute, but anyway, top 25. We're going straight to it. Look through some of these guys. Some of these people lost. Oh, Muckers. Muckers coming out of nowhere. Winning 2 games in a row and now into the top 25 with 627.99 points. Low-hanging fruit winning again. He's third in a row. 637. Christian's Weapons of Mass Double Destruction. 637.9 back in the top 25. Brady O'Bush, don't look now. Ashley Cromwell won this league several years ago. She's back for the 10th season, hoping to win, and she's in the top 25. Patriots, my man, James St. Germain, up to number 21 from number 25. You feeling lucky punk from number 23 to 20. Hitting rugs. 4 games in a row for this guy. He's 1-3, now he's 5-3, 6-2. Aching for a ship, also a 4-game win streak. Mama G out of retirement, also a 4-game win streak. And then the Apache Chiefs, you know it's coming. You know it's coming. You know it's coming. Yes, the Apache Chiefs lose again. They're all over the place. But 672.71 points is a very good number at this late in the game. Even though this thing goes on way too long, I forget. Malcolm Rodriguez in the middle of my thighs is just having a disastrous month. 3 weeks in a row. They've lost. They were number 1 in the nation. Now they are number 11 or 15 in the nation, down from number 11. Poe Swag also 3-game skid. It's like they're in the same conference. Like, meh, someone else take this. Who will that person be? We'll see in a minute. Bleeding Blue Bombers, a 2-game losing streak. Cloacal Kiss loses again. Thank God. We don't want a repeat champion up in here. Show Me Them TDs down from number 5 down to number 11. 603 points. Now we get the top 10 Dewayans. The lovable Gary King, 617.4 points. Cheechke's up from 16 to number 9. These are all, well, there's a lot of 6-2 teams, actually. CD's Nuts up from 17 to 8 with a big game this week. Just here so I don't get fined. Don't call me Paul Wall. I want to see your grills, Wall and Wine. 5 games in a row this guy's won. So he is 642.02. 1 game back in his division. That's what that 1 means. Tallywhackers, spoiler alert, they're the ones I was talking about with Poe Swag and Malcolm Rodriguez in the middle of my thighs. They've won 4 in a row. Those ladies have lost in a row. Typical women can't get the job done, as Donald Trump would probably say. I don't know. Then Sag Nasties, top above notch, top notch, botch drops. Loses for the first time, rather, this week. Went from formerly number 2, even though it says number 1. It's a long story. I never updated that because I was still sick. I'm not functioning properly when I'm sick. That's all there is to it. Tenacious D, also in the top 10. Tallywhackers is owned by the same guy as Tenacious D, just so everyone knows. So he's got number 4 and number 6. Pretty impressive. That's a chunky. Louis Diana lost a game a couple weeks ago. He's won 2 in a row now. Chop it off, and I'll make you stunning and brave. Twilight Zone reality here, folks. 5 games in a row for number 2, which means that our number 1 team again is a lot of 8-0, the only undefeated team left again. Well, there was 2 last week. 8 wins in a row, 661.51 points. Not that many points, but to be honest with you, at this point, it doesn't even matter. It doesn't even matter, folks. A lot of could not start anybody, get randomized, and he probably will still win the division. But at the very least, he's going to make the playoffs. 8-3 is almost guaranteed to make the playoffs. So, bad news for the rest of the league there, as they are killing it. Only ranked team in this conference, too. He's like playing with a bunch of jokers. I really wish I would have refilled that before I got anything else. But anyway, so that's your top 25. Now, if you look at this sidebar here, the next thing is the Nuts. And this is the Nuts here, okay? The Nuts, which is owned by Jamie Phelps and, well, at least formerly and, Bracy Trudell. Bracy Trudell took over, one of them took over another team. So I don't know if they do this conjoined or not. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But nevertheless, whoever orchestrated this lineup wanted to point this out because they actually ended up with the second highest score of all time, ladies and gentlemen. 146.14 points. Second only to Jeremy Orr's Kakambas. They find themselves in between Kakambas, who had the 1 and 2 score. Couldn't quite beat the first score, but did beat the 2 score. Finds the Nuts now in second place all time. And again, this lineup, I mean, you can see why this happened. 100 points between 4 players, basically. Tua, Foreman, Henry, A.J. Brown, DeAndre Hopkins, T.J. Hawkinson, which I got a little something special for him right now. It's going to be one of these. It's sad, but it is what it is. Welcome to the Vikings, I guess. Tyler Bass, who had a chance to get them into that top spot. If he would have got 3 full field goals or even 2 more extra points, they would have been there, but not quite. And then finally, the Tennessee Titans down there. So, hats off to you, Phelps/Trudell. Number 2 score of all time. It's pretty impressive. Is this... Okay, I thought Renly was coming downstairs, but it's fine. It is Ren. Hey, buddy. I got a little flack for not making a special deal out of Parker Dalton's team defeating the number 1 team overall. So I said, what the heck? Why not reflect? What's up, buddy? On what happened last week. So I'm going to do you one worse. I'm not going to focus on what you did. I'm going to focus on what other teams did last week during the weekly results here. Or maybe not. Maybe I'm just looking at the nuts. I don't know. I like looking at nuts. What are you doing? Besides being loud.
I'm watching video.
Okay.
Oh, this guy's pro.
Nobody cares about this. Here we go. This is what I'm looking for. Week 8 results. As if these podcasts aren't long enough. But I did want to make special attention to a few of these games here. Because if you look at these, Swag, 14th, scored 114 points and lost. Ari Allen, Tim Allen scored 85 points and lost. Death Before Dishonor, look at this one. This is brutal right here, folks. Death Before Dishonor scored 106.49. Lost by 9/10 of a point to Cheat Sheet number 9. Then we go down here. We got another one, Hood Rich Honky. That's a Hood Rich Honky. 105.11 to 111.18. This is another 100-point performance that lost. Can You Diggs It loses to Kakambas, but scores 99.89 points and lost. Mullen Incorporated, 99.87 points and lost. What? Don't tell me to stop. Get out of here. But you're telling me to stop. Okay, Tips and Tricks and another just absolute devastating loss. Tips and Tricks. Oh, my God. This is how you lost this week? Oh, man. This is why I'm doing this, because I can see this. Tips and Tricks drops 102.02 points and loses to Better Bring Your A Game, who brought it, by the way. Honolulu Blues, 113 points and lost. I mean, this is craziness, right? Alshon Jeffrey didn't kill himself. Here's your shout out, Parker. You 97.7 points and lost to Paul. I want to see a Grills, 110.83. Malcolm Rodriguez in the middle of my thighs. Of course, another one of my family members gets victimized by a huge score. Lennon lost the first week that way. And then look at this shit. Look at this. Now, this is it. This is it, folks. This is it. This is the closest game in the history of MUSL. That's why we're looking at these things. 101.31. Watson Spa and Massage. 101.29. That is 2/100ths of a point, which is literally one passing yard. One passing yard separated Watson Spa and Masseuse, whatever the hell that name is, versus Tie Her Up and Lock It Down. Tyler Sasita is, I don't even know how you pronounce your name, but it looks like it. That's brutal, man. Not only did he score 101 points, but he lost by .02. A single passing yard. So, that's crazy. Hockenstein pulls up a 104 and loses. My Balzac hurts 90 points and loses to Muckers, who's coming out of nowhere, by the way. So kudos to, I think his name's Scott Muckovitz. Yep. For the Muckovitz. So great, dated salt and pepper reference if for young kids don't know. But those are your week 8 results, and I'm glad I did this because I would have never noticed that Tips and Tricks lost by .02 points. Oh my God, he is destined to lose every game. Playoff picture now. We're going to look at, man, we're only 12 minutes in. We're flying through this shit. But this is where it's going to get a little bit deeper. Playoff picture. We're going to look at these a little bit in depth here. Jeff Lebowski Conference, Chichki and Klokal Kisk. They've already played, I believe. We look at the schedules here, and it's like, see, Chichki played and beat Klokal Kisk. Now, Chichki's last 2 games, Garrity's, 3 games. That's the thing. We're not going to go too in-depth because next week there'll only be 2 games left. It's a lot easier to narrow down the scenarios. This guy barely fucking won this week, man. Tough break for old Dalton Smith. Loses with that points. But yeah, these are his weeks. This last week, 11, 14 versus 9, that could be huge, but we'll wait. We're not going to dive too far into these things just yet. But what we will see is, again, with 3 weeks to go, a lot can still happen here. But, I mean, it's going to be very difficult for these 4-4 teams to do anything, if even mathematically possible, because Chichki will play post-swag. So one of those teams isn't losing all 4 games, or all 3 games. Chichki and Klokal Kiss, post-swag, and Ketchup and Moster, these 4 teams are still alive easily. You can see that. Some of these 4-4 teams maybe, but we're not going to count them. It's a 4-man race going into the final 3 weeks between those 4 teams. Then we got, who is that? Who's the Ketchup and Mostert is Alex Erickson. And then, of course, we have Nick Harris, Maddie Bradley, and Bonnie Monahan all in this group. And then we have Kirk Lazarus Conference. This is interesting, too. 2 6-2 teams, 2 5-3 teams. Have these teams played each other? That's the next question. What the hell? I just clicked the wrong button. I'm a rookie. What can I say? They have not. Tallywhackers and CD's Nuts will play each other the final week. Oh, man. Kind of spoils it, but yeah. 4 teams have alive in this one, too, especially since those guys are playing each other later down the road. With 3 games, a lot can still happen, though. That's what I'm saying. Then we get down here. Ron Burgundy Conference is a little different here. They have a 2-game advantage with 3 games to go. So, I mean, depending on what happens this next week, if Chop It Off wins, he'd be 8-1. Next teams, some will be 6-3. Still possible. I have to break down the tiebreakers, but Chop It Off's looking pretty right now. But a lot can happen, you know. If he loses 3 straight, especially, anything can happen. If he wins 1 of the next 3, he's probably still going to win. If he wins 2 of the next 3, he's almost certainly going to win. But it all depends. Shake it up. But he's in great shape. These other 4 teams are still kind of alive. I mean, they are. Kakambas, Kristen, Young Bubba's Plays, and Brady O'Bush. Look out. Then we go down here. Similar situation. 1-7-1, 4-5-3 teams. With 3 games, again, this guy, that's a chunky, could lose 3 in a row, and then everything's crazy. But it's very unlikely. You know, that's a chunky and Chop It Off are both in phenomenal shape. This one is a little bit closer. Tenacious D, 7-1. Just Here's What I Can Find, 6-2. Then you have Patriots and Malcolm Rodriguez, both 5-3. Malcolm Rodriguez is in the same conference as Post. Right? What the hell am I thinking? So, have these guys played each other yet? That's the big question. They have not. They have played each other. Sorry. Who's this? Who the hell is this? Tenacious D. Tenacious D beat Just Here So I Don't Get Fined, so that's a huge deal. Tenacious D has the tiebreaker, so if they end up tied, he would win that. But you don't know what's going to happen. Tenacious D could lose out. Those 4 teams still alive. This one here is even crazier. You have 5 teams alive in this one. As DeWine, Show Me Them TVs, Low Hanging Fruit, tie her up and lock it down, fresh off that brutal loss. And tie her up and lock it down, lost by 0.02 points. That's right, not tips and tricks. He just lost. Brady's backup, young Cromwell. He's always creeping up at the end of the year, it seems. So 5 teams still alive in that one. We go down to Rod Kimball. Very similar to the other one. It's 7-1, 6-2 with Bleeding Blue Bombers, which is Pat Provo Sr. Mama G, Hitting Rugs, and Whispering Eyes. Haven't said that name very much this year. Jason Taylor and Mason Bradley. Boy, and then you get to this bottom one, and this is just... Let me tell you how bad this is for the rest of the league here, okay? Velada. Let's see. Let's just see if Velada has played Muckers. Okay? Because this is a big deal when we click on this. Because if Velada has played Muckers already and beat him, which obviously he wouldn't have lost to him because he's undefeated, then this conference is over. This conference is over in week 8. Let's click and see. Hopefully it hasn't happened. Let's look. He has not played him yet. Good. Otherwise, he could be on cruise control. Now, if Muckers loses another game, though, yeah. I mean, this is so front-loaded for Velada here. It's crazy, but Velada, if you win one more game, you have to win one more game to lock it up. This math I can do, okay? You win one more game, you lock it up. If you lose this week to the Clockwork Elves and Muckers wins this week, anything can happen. You know? Basically, hold on, Renly, what? Okay, go get your mom. I'm in the middle of a podcast. She'll get you something to drink. That's cool. What was I saying? Thank you, Ren. Oh, yeah. A lot of Velada would need to lose out, and Muckers would need to win out in order for Muckers to take that crown. Can happen, but Muckers needs to win out. A lot of Velada needs to lose out. Everybody else, unfortunately, eliminated from contention. They're not going to win this, okay? They're not going to win it. That's all there's to it. Such a playoff picture. Then we're going to go down to the point standings. This is something I didn't even realize you could do. You go to standings, go to weekly summary. This is kind of neat. Shows you who scored what. Bold is like the high score of the week. Italicized the low score of the week. But it also shows you point standings and where you're at in one convenient chart here, okay? So, remember that the top X amount of positions. I'll break this down for next podcast so we actually have real numbers. Top positions get in on based on record, and then there's several based on points. So you want to have a lot of points, and like Stafford's Bastards, or Fly Eagles Fly here is the best example right here. Mick DeBow doesn't have a great record. He's 4-4. He's not going to make the playoffs based on record, but if he keeps scoring points, he will, because all these other teams are probably going to get in, well, especially 1, 3, 2, 6. These teams are going to get in based on record, so the points won't matter. You know? So that's where you're at here. If you look at that on this list, you might see your team. Oh, man. Vic in a box, and you get down here, and you get down to the bottom here, and then, you know, so Tips and Tricks is actually third from the bottom with I'll Take Your Money and Air Allen, Tim Allen, Ray Allen. Now, that doesn't count. I mean, it does. This team was absorbed in the middle of the week, or the middle of the year. So, they were randomized multiple times, including, I think, this week. This week's low score, by the way, most none unknown, Justin Redding. High score, obviously, the Nuts with the record-breaking score, almost record-breaking score. Then we're going to look at week 9, see what's going on, if any excitement's happening here. Looking for ranked teams. Cheechke taking on Air Allen. You know, it's a new Justin Redding's new owner for that. Cloacal Kiss taking on Garrity's Gigolos, who beat me handedly this week. Hopefully Steve Garrity can keep the momentum going and knock out Cloacal Kiss. Death Before Designer had a tough loss this week, taking on Savage FC. Neither of them are ranked. Post Swag, Bonnie Monahan versus James Seagraves. That'll be a good one. Tallywhackers taking on File a Missing Person Report, a.k.a. Run It Back. Hey! Tell you what I'll do. This is the opposite, okay? If you can beat the Tallywhackers this week, David Dalton, I will come back with my Alex Jones impressions of a whole new batch of conspiracy theories. Got new ones right. I just heard some new ones today, actually, at work. Well, that was actually yesterday. But if you win, I will do it. I promise you. That's probably how I got sick the first time. Just threw up my voice, destroyed my voice so bad. And then we've got CD's Nuts taking on Shark Attack, who's still on the Lions. Didn't get traded. You Feel Lucky Punk taking on Fly Eagles Fly. Chop It Off versus Can You Digs It. None of these are very great. The Dublin Drunks taking on Brady O'Bush. Looking for a good matchup here. That's a Chunky taking on Honolulu Blues. Yawn. Stephen Bailey's Rays taking on Apache Chiefs. Scrolling down. Nothing. Okay, well. Yeah, DeWian's taking on Tie Her Up and Lock It Down. It's a big game. They're 5-3. A lot can happen there. And then finally, we got one here. Sag Nasty's Notch Above Top Notches taking on the Bleeding Blue Bombers. 7-1 versus 6-2. Bleeding Blue Bombers needs that game, straight up. Nothing else you can say about it. They need the game. Sag Nasty wins that. He's going to be 8-1. You're going to be 6-3 and lose the tiebreaker. It's your season, bro. Pat Provost Sr., get it going. Suck it. This must be the Bracy Trudell team. 3-5. That's a name I haven't seen before. She changed his name. That's good. Alana Velada taking on the Clockwork Elves. 4-4. Creeping up there. He's a former runner-up. And that's that. I mean, not a lot of excitement here of ranked teams taking on ranked teams, but that's where we're at. Super Squares will be my last thing I talk about tonight. I'm tired. I gotta do a bunch of leaves here in a minute. James Seagraves, myself, actually, ended up winning this one. Not a conspiracy. Ironically, I don't think I cleared off these ones here, but Bengals and Browns did not get it. So we'll knock this out here, which means that. Oh my God, I did the wrong color. What an idiot. Hawkinson, prior to leaving Detroit, got me the square. $29 in my pocket. All right, so that's it. 24 minutes is actually not bad. Sometimes I go longer than this. Get your lineups in. We didn't go over randomizers today. Wasn't a lot of randomizers, and the people who had randomizers had other things going on, so we're not going to harass them. It happens, So there's that. And what? I'm saying goodbye. That's cool. Yes, Yes, you're in the lead. No, you're down 21-3. Actually, playing retro ball. You're not in the lead. That's it, guys. Good luck, and hopefully next week I will still be, on the upswing. I can't get rid of this crap, but feel better. Take care of yourself and each other. We'll be back.